That single question opens a doorway into a haunting, hypothetically catastrophic vision. To begin, for countless millennia, the sun has been our unwavering anchor, bathing Earth in warmth and light. It dictates the rhythm of our seasons, fuels ecosystems, and stands as a symbol of stability. Yet, if we entertain the extraordinary premise of its violent obliteration, our understanding of the cosmos and our place within it is shaken to the core. Imagine, in an instant, our luminous star igniting in a final infernal surge. Gone is the gentle sunrise, replaced by a massive, incandescent flash that forces the sun's mass outward in a horrendous eruption of plasma. Shock waves ripple across space, carrying the blazing remains of a once calm stellar surface. In that moment, the sky would go from familiar day to an unearthly brilliance so intense, no eyes could bear to witness it. The inferno of swirling, roiling matter unfurls in a display of staggering power. Incandescent ribbons of gold and white mingling with flashes of electric blues or greens from heated particles. It is an event so abrupt and all-consuming that it dwarfs any natural disaster we have known. Yet, for Earth, the first clue arrives only about 8 minutes later, due to the time it takes light to traverse the 150 million kilometers separating us from the sun. During those 8 fragile minutes, we would sense no difference. Life would continue under a seemingly normal daylight, oblivious to the catastrophe in progress. Once the lethal burst arrives, however, the side of Earth facing the sun would be blasted by unimaginable heat and radiation. Skies that once hosted clouds transform instantly into an inferno of arcing electromagnetic surges. Buildings, landscapes, and oceans vaporize or combust under the savage onslaught. The roar of the shock wave saturates everything. Soon it collapses into a surreal hush as entire infrastructures crumble and the environment succumbs to scorching turmoil. Beyond that immediate horror, the planetary consequences escalate. Without the sun's gravitational hold, Earth's orbit unravels, sending the planet on an unpredictable trajectory through space. As the remains of the sun expand or disperse, the geometry of our solar system falls into disarray. Meanwhile, the side of the Earth that remains unscathed in the first seconds faces its own doom. Soon, all sunlight disappears, replaced by eternal darkness. Temperatures plunge rapidly, forging a frozen domain. The seas glaze over with ice, and plants die in mass, deprived of the essential energy for photosynthesis. Herbivores lose their food sources, and carnivores have nowhere to turn. The entire food web collapses with terrifying speed. Some microbial life might endure in hydrothermal vents or other niche enclaves, but the Earth's grand tapestry of biodiversity stands on the brink of oblivion. Human civilization, so reliant on solar power, directly or indirectly, implodes under these conditions. Power grids fail as the environment grows unlivable. Satellites are rendered useless by radiation spikes or by the gravitational chaos of a dissolving solar system. Communication lines fracture, global supply chains become meaningless, and any semblance of normal society dissolves within days. Pockets of survivors might seek refuge underground, carrying artificial light and retooled energy sources, yet the question remains how they would ever thrive in a world so unrecognizably altered. Even with incredible ingenuity, the outlook is bleak when night becomes permanent and vital resources vanish. Looking outward, the violence of the sun's demise extends its reach across interplanetary and perhaps even interstellar expanses. Particles ejected by the blast surge outward, potentially striking nearby worlds with intense radiation or altering their orbits. Comets and asteroids may find their gravitational paths disrupted, sending them careening dangerously through the solar neighborhood. Farther yet, alien astronomers from distant star systems would note the abrupt disappearance of the sun's spectral signature, replaced by the markers of a supernova-like event. For them, it becomes a cosmic cautionary example, a star among billions undone by the unstoppable cycles of creation and destruction that rule the galaxy. As we explore this nightmare scenario, it becomes clear how extensively Earth's ecosystems are woven around the sun's stable warmth. Without it, a chain reaction of environmental collapse ensues. Plants wilt in hours or days, while entire forests freeze or burn, and the oceans, once brimming with life, turn still under an icy crust. Humanity's elaborate technology buckles under the catastrophic extremes. Oxygen production plummets as photosynthetic organisms die off, while carbon dioxide accumulates, fueling further climatic chaos. Toxic substances might be released from once frozen soils or ocean floors, compounding the disaster. The planet's delicate biosphere, meticulously shaped over eons, unravels in the space of mere weeks or months. Along with environmental shocks, the social and psychological toll would be monumental. If word of the sun's explosion spread with even a little lead time, via anomalies in solar data or an early detection from well-placed instruments, widespread panic would likely grip civilizations. People would scramble for supplies, attempt mass evacuations to no safe haven, and cling to any shred of hope. Religion, art, and philosophy might transform under the weight of such existential terror. After the initial wave of destruction, those who survive in remote or specially protected environments would grapple with a new, nearly incomprehensible normal. Their daily lives revolve around basic survival, securing heat, oxygen, food, and water in an environment saturated with radiation and starved of external energy. In these enclaves, the ethical question arises: should they try to rebuild societies or concentrate on short-term survival? Is there room for technology or the arts in a dying world? Remarkably, the impetus for radical innovation might surface in these darkest moments. Engineers and researchers, huddled in subterranean labs, might design ways to extract geothermal or nuclear energy, artificially simulate sunlight for crops, or stabilize the planet's temperature in carefully walled-off domes. Wild ideas, like deploying artificial suns or constructing orbiting mirrors to reflect distant starlight, come off as improbable, but desperation can spark unexpected breakthroughs. Yet the fundamental question remains whether any measure could offset the unstoppable forces unleashed by a solar explosion. Even if some technologies prolong survival, the indefinite absence of a star eventually imposes an insurmountable limit. On a larger cosmic scale, the loss of the sun would send ripples through channels of interstellar politics or alliances. Observers in other star systems might see Earth as a cautionary example of how ephemeral life is, reliant on the caprices of stellar behavior. Some advanced civilizations might rush to send assistance or conduct research, but the light years of distance hamper any immediate rescue. Perhaps future archaeologists from a distant species, upon arriving in the charred remains of our solar system, would piece together how life once thrived here. Fossil records, artificial satellites, or data caches left behind might stand testament to an epoch abruptly cut short. In that regard, an exploded sun also becomes a cosmic artifact, part supernova, part dark monument to vanished civilizations. Philosophically, the scenario ignites reflections on how precariously we exist. We rely on a single star for everything: food, climate, cycles of day and night. Its unwavering presence throughout human evolution can mask the reality that, at an astronomical scale, stars are neither eternal nor entirely safe. Some thinkers see in this scenario a call to diversification, colonizing other systems, or intensifying research on star-lifting or star-stabilizing technologies. Others, more pragmatic or spiritual, perceive a cosmic humility, that we remain small participants in a vast, often indifferent universe. Even if advanced civilizations eventually conquer extraordinary forms of energy manipulation, the memory of a star's fall might keep them vigilant about delving too deeply into cosmic extremes. From an astrobiological vantage point, the meltdown of the solar system also provides a new vantage on how exoplanet communities might vanish. If a star's life cycle ends more violently than predicted, planets that once nurtured advanced species can be rendered barren in a cosmic blink. Those wanting to analyze the full matrix of planetary habitability would realize it's not just about having a planet in the habitable zone, but about the entire star's stable longevity. Observing the sun's hypothetical explosion underlines how, in the cosmic lottery, Earth was indeed favored to exist during the sun's stable middle years. That ephemeral advantage can be lost if a star dies early or more catastrophically than standard stellar evolution models anticipate. In the end, the prospect of the sun exploding remains largely within the domain of imaginative what-ifs. Our sun is not massive enough to become a supernova, and it's set to expand into a red giant in billions of years rather than explode abruptly. Yet the very exercise of contemplating this cataclysm underscores the fragility of our existence and the delicate synergy that fosters life. It prompts us to treasure the star we have, to harness its energy responsibly, and maybe to plan beyond Earth's boundaries if we wish to ensure humanity's permanence. While we trust that no immediate cause threatens our sun, the concept reveals how cosmic violence, though improbable, can impose final endings on entire ecosystems or even civilizations in an instant. Thank you for exploring this hypothetical cosmic horror with us. If you found this exploration enlightening or stirring, consider liking this video, subscribing for more thought-provoking sci-fi content, and sharing your insights in the comments. Ultimately, we discover that the question, what would it look like if the sun exploded, is less about the visual spectacle and more about recognizing our star's silent yet vital role in the tapestry of life, an unwavering presence that, if lost, would cast